thank everyone for tuning in this morning. On the program today, I welcome in former Major League outfielder and first Canadian born to play for both Canadian Major League Baseball teams, the Expos and Blue Jays. I welcome in Rob Ducey. Rob, Brian C., thanks for your time this morning.
Hey, Brian, how are you today?
Very well. I appreciate your time. Let's begin, Rob, your very early years. I know you played 13 seasons in professional baseball. Talk a little bit about the younger years, what attracted you to the game, who were some of your early sports idols?
Oh, gosh. I would say sports idols. Growing up, I liked Bake McBride. I liked, obviously, growing up in Ontario, it was a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, Mike Palmateer, Boyer Salming, Darryl Sittler, Lanny McDonald. As far as baseball was concerned, I didn't watch a lot of baseball growing up. The Blue Jays just started, I guess, in 1990 or in 90 and 77, I believe, the expansion years for the Blue Jays. Baseball wasn't as popular in Canada as it is now. So hockey obviously is still the number one sport there.
Right. And I read your biography. I read that you played softball and you were a competitive wrestler before baseball. Is that true?
It is true. It is true. You know what? Whatever the season was, that's the sport that I played. I was kind of all over the map as far as sports. I didn't like basketball. I always tell people whenever I jumped, I hit my head on the rim. So I didn't like that very much. But I didn't like basketball. Football, I did play one year of football. Didn't really like that. But multiple sports, different sports, whether from rugby to volleyball to lacrosse to obviously baseball, hockey, whatever the season was. We played back then. It was just go out and play.
Right, and then let's move a little forward to 1983. Rob, you graduated from Glenview Park, Cambridge, Canada. Following year, 1984, you were signed as a free agent. Talk about how you first heard the Blue Jays organization was interested in you, and where exactly were you the day you were selected as a free agent?
I went to junior college in Florida, 1 year junior college in Orlando at Seminole Community College, and I was the fourth outfielder. And in college, my job every day after practice and after games was sweep out the dugout because my coach said that's what type of swing I had. I had a sweeping swing, so he gave me a broom early in the school year and said, your job is to sweep out the dugouts until we can fix that. So I ended up going, I ended up going there, and at the end of the year, I got an opportunity to play a lot more. One of our outfielders got hurt, and by the end of the year, the Toronto Blue Jays head scout that was down here watching me contacted my parents and told my dad I was ready to sign. It was very, very quick. The on the field every day here in Florida was probably the best thing that could have happened to me as far as my baseball career.
Wow, so your dad must have been very proud, huh?
Extremely. My whole family, yes, extremely.
Yeah.
Signing with the Toronto Blue Jays, being from there, I didn't know exactly whether I obviously I wanted to play in the major leagues, but to play at that level and to play for the Blue Jays, I think at that stage of the game was still a dream. My very first week, I vividly remember looking at the other outfielders that signed with me. Again, I was the fourth outfielder in rookie ball, and saying I can't do that. I don't look like that. I can't run like that. I don't hit the ball like that. And it was, I called my dad collect. I said, I don't know how long I'm going to be here because these guys, I don't belong here. These guys are too good. So I just took it one day at a time after that. And I ended up playing for a long time.
Yeah, you did, Rob. And, reading the scouting report on you, I mean, you were a solid player. The scouting report was you're a real good line drive hitter. You hit well to opposite sides of the field, and you were excellent in covering a lot of ground with a strong arm. And, we're talking a history here because, as I mentioned in the opening, that, you are the first Canadian born to play for both Expos and Blue Jays. And you played 13 years. So, I mean, you were a solid performer.
Well, I appreciate that. No, you know what? Every day I went to work and did the best I could, win, lose, or draw. I think that's what people expect from professional players, and that's what I expected from myself. Every day, tried to give my team the best opportunity to win.
So 1984, you went ahead and played for the Medicine Hat Blue Jays, right? That was
Correct.
The name of the team, Medicine Hat Blue.
And Medicine Hat, yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Medicine Hat, Alberta, yes.
And you batted .302, and you became the club's MVP right off the bat. So right away, right off the bat, you were showing the professional Blue Jays organization that, I mean, you can play. Am I right?
Yes. Starting off in that league, it was the Pioneer League, and I was the fourth outfielder. Didn't get an opportunity to play a lot early in the season, but our right fielder pulled his hamstring. I got an opportunity to play, and anytime you get an opportunity to play, you have to grab the bull by the horns and get after it. So by the time he was ready to play again, I was a fixture in the lineup, and he had to, it was an opportunity for me, and he became the fourth outfielder at that point in time.
And then that 1984 Medicine Hat Blue Jays team, besides yourself, you also had former Major League ball players, Dane Johnson, Greg Myers, Jeff Richardson, Eric Yielding. Did you get along with all the guys on that team?
Did I get along with them? Yes.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think that any given time, I did have an issue in that particular year with a player on your list because early in the season there was an outfield practice, and my locker was right next to the board, and this was like a week and a half into our season, and I showed up, and I was the only outfielder that showed up because I read the board. It was right in front of my face. So I got into an argument that night with one of the other outfielders that didn't show up because I didn't tell them. Well, that was the first rule was don't be late, read the board, and and the third rule, be on time. So it was all wound into professional sports being on time. And if you're on time, if it's at 11 o'clock and you show up at 11, you're probably late. So that was the very first lesson that I learned.
We're talking with former Major League outfielder Rob Ducey. Rob, I want to fast forward 1987. You were playing for the Syracuse Chiefs International League, and I believe Todd Stottlemyre, David Wells was also on that team. That year, you showed voracious speed. You led the league in triples, I believe, with 10 that year. I mean, you batted 305 times in the minors. So, again, you were really showcasing your talent, and that's what drew the Blue Jays to call you up, right?
Well, I was actually that in 1987, David Wells and Todd Stottlemyre, we were roommates in AAA.
Really?
Often, minor league players, you have multiple roommates because of, the cost of living. I think you see at this time there's 5 or 6 guys living in an apartment together because guys don't make a lot of money. So at that time, Todd and I and David, we were all roommates, and I was actually got called up before those guys. So I still have a relationship with them. A lot of guys that I played with, I still have a relationship with them. I think that's one of the things that is great about our game is you spend a lot of time with guys, and it's whether you make it to the major leagues or not, you develop these friendships that last a lifetime.
So your first major league appearance, I read your statistics. That game you went 1 for 2 with an RBI and a stolen base. What do you remember most about that first appearance in the big league as a big league player?
It was at Exhibition Stadium, May 1st, 1987. I had pizza for lunch. I'm just playing. No, I got 3 standing ovations that game. It was a whirlwind. It happened so quickly. I was very, very young. I was still 21 years old. I didn't turn 22 till the 24th of that month. So I was still 21. And I was playing on the field with the best outfield in baseball with Jesse Barfield, Lloyd Mosby, and George Bell. It was a quick debut as I got called up in May and sent down in June, but it just happened so fast. In my very first year of playing baseball only. And not splitting it between baseball and fast pitch softball, I was 16 years old. So the learning curve of what I needed to do, I just went out and played. I really liked to play. I wanted to be on the field and play, and I didn't worry about who was next to me, who was who we were playing against. I was just trying to hit the ball and catch it and throw it.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question to you, Rob, because when the Blue Jays team called you up, I mean, you were up against three of the very best outfielders, Barfield, Bell, and Mosby. That must have been was that intimidating, a little bit intimidating for you?
No, not at all. Again, I thought I was pretty good. To that point, there was not a challenge at the professional level that I didn't overcome. So I felt like when I was on the field, I was able to contribute, and I think that any professional player that is worth his salt or her salt feels they're the best player on the field. And you don't really worry about, oh man, I'm facing Roger Clemens today, or Kevin Brown, or Nolan Ryan. Holy smokes! Well, I'm going to lose if I think of it that way. So I didn't. I just played the game.
Now, in 1987, Rob, you also played for the Venezuelan League, and again, you led in that. You led with 48 runs. You finished second in triples with 6. Stole 17 bases in 1987 Venezuelan League. How was the competition there?
Oh, it was very good at that time. Let's see who we played against. Ozzie Guillen.
Was it Cecil Fielder?
Ozzie Guillen was there. Cecil Fielder, Glenn Allen Hill, teammates of mine, many Blue Jays, because the Blue Jays had an affiliation with the Cardenales de Lara, and Cecil Fielder, Glenn Allen Hill, David Justice, Greg Vaughn.
Greg Maddox, right?
Maddox was he was in Zulia.
Okay.
He played for Maracaibo. I faced him down there. Terry Francona played on Zulia's team.
Oh, wow.
I think that was in 1986. I was there 86, 87, 88, and 90. And I ended up meeting my wife there.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. Yeah.
So talk about that. How did you meet your wife? Now, I read somewhere that she was a beauty pageant queen.
Yeah, well, she won the pageant to represent our team, and it's called the La Madrina, and so that's how she befriended the wives of the other American players, because they sat up in a box all the time, and during the All-Star banquet, I sat next to her, her mom, and then the night before we were on TV, we ended up losing in the 10th inning. I dove and ball went off my glove, got on second base. He ended up scoring in the 10th inning, and her mom told me that I choked. So that's how I ended up meeting her. Pretty good, yeah, pretty good story. Yeah.
Yeah, no, very interesting. Two other achievements that I want to mention. You were inducted into Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame in 2013. How was that feeling like?
You know what? At the end of a career, that's the really the crowning jewel of a career is being recognized in your particular sport by a Hall of Fame, and very honored. I got an opportunity to see people during the induction ceremonies that I hadn't seen in a long time, because it was near where I grew up. From my former teammates to my big brother and Peter Mantrop with the Big Brothers Association, and it was a really, really neat experience, and I'm very honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, and you also represented Canada in the Olympic Games, right?
Correct. I was a player in Athens. We ended up finishing fourth. We lost to Japan in the bronze medal game. We lost to Cuba in the semifinals, and then the bronze medal game we lost to Japan. And I was a coach in Beijing, and we didn't get to the medal round in Beijing. But again, representing your country, and I've got an opportunity to travel the world, meet people, and have experiences because of the game of baseball that I would not have had.
Amazing. And also you were the hitting coach, as you mentioned, hitting coach for the Chinese Professional League. What just training these players, hitting the ball with them, what would you say is the big difference between the Asian culture as far as playing the game ability versus the American culture?
Every professional league is a little bit different. Obviously, I played in Japan. I played there for 2 years, in between stints in the major leagues. But whether it's Korea, Japan, or Taiwan, each league has different abilities, and their work ethic is unbelievable. The routines that they go through, the pay attention to detail is stronger in some places than others. The physicality of the individuals is different. Korea, they're bigger and stronger than the Japanese players because of the culture, and it's just the way it is. The Taiwanese hitters, they can hit. They are really, really good hitters. Japan, they have different, batting techniques and styles that they implement. So every league over there is different in how they do things. But as far as probably the biggest hurdle is the language barrier. and you have to um, really have an interpreter that has the ability to convey your message. This is like, man, you're the hitter is doing something that that's not what I said, but that's what they convey through the interpretation part, and that's the biggest hurdle.
So, since you're an expert in this field, what would you say in developing bat speed is a good approach to take?
Developing bat speed, I believe, yes, I believe that growing up and even now, hitting coaches would talk about using their hands, and there is a difference. If any player that I've ever had, I've always talked about using your hands, because that's what whether it's having that whip through the zone. Guys try to muscle up balls, and they use their shoulders, they use the bigger, stronger muscles, which for me kind of slows that bat speed down. And if there was a way that you can, and I know the way to convey it, but if a hitting coach has a way to convey using your wrists, using your hands, that will help develop the bat speed that you're looking for.
Now, Rob, I played briefly Division I college ball, and my manager at the time told me that it's very important. I don't know how true this is. I just want to get your thought. When you're hitting, it's very important to turn your hip. That back, if you're a righty hitter, that back leg to turn it is very important to drive the ball. Would you say that's correct? That turning that back leg and that hip?
Yes. There's two parts of the mechanics of the swing that I do try to ingrain in guys that I do work with, is the lower half, the core, their legs, the actual movement of your feet, and the upper body, which for me, it's not the shoulders, it's using your hands. And so your sequence of your swing is very important. If you're out of sync, because your hands are quicker than your lower half, if your hands go first, by the time your legs actually get into position to impact the ball's already off the bat. So you can't generate any lower half or core power on the baseball, because it's gone. So that the sequence of a swing is very, very important for me.
Wow. And also, final question. How about keeping, let's say you're a righty hitter, keeping your chin on your shoulder, on your left shoulder when hitting? I know we were taught that in Little League. Is that very important to do?
No. That would be a fix if you're, if someone's pulling off the ball, or for me, it's keeping your eyes in the hitting zone where the ball is. So that would be a fix. If you're pulling your head, then that might have been one of the issues that a coach recognized in your swing. You pull your head off, and if you pull your head, then your weight goes towards third base, and your direction is off, and then you lose track of the ball. So you can't hit what you can't see. And if you have the ability to keep your eyes in the hitting zone where the ball, I don't think that you can actually see the ball hit the bat. I don't believe that, but that's kind of the concept of it, so that you don't pull off.
And of course, Ted Williams is known for saying he saw the bat. He saw the ball just hit his bat. I don't know how true that is.
But I'm fairly certain that he did, because he had he was I believe a naval pilot, and he had like the top 1% in all pilots as far as eyesight. So he may have where the normal Joe Smith like myself, there's no way. I didn't see the ball out of the pitcher's hand. I didn't see that. I didn't, I had to pick it up, 3 or 4 feet after he released it. So I think we try to emulate all these super duper stars, and it just doesn't happen. Hand-eye coordination off the charts, strength, different strengths, different leverages, and I wanted to be like Griffey. Sure, I wanted to be like Griffey, but there's no way I could do the things that he physically could do. So, I think that's some of the biggest issues that we have in sports is trying to play like Tiger, trying to, swim like Phelps, trying to. Well, yeah, but I'm not 6'4" with webbed feet. And not to say that he has web feet, but yeah, just an example. I can't do that. I'm not built. My shoulders aren't, 4 feet wide. I'm not built like that. So everyone has their strength, and that's why those guys are the best in the world.
Well, they're telling me I have a few seconds
Brian,
left.
That's just a theory I have.
Right. Well, I was going to say, you left your mark in the game in other ways. And, we went over a few of your achievements here today, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, it was great. Hopefully we could do it again, Rob. I appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you.
Great job. That was a former outfielder, played for the Expos and Blue Jays, Rob Ducey. Thanks so much for your time. Happy collecting to all.